Hello and welcome to Coolab. My name is Koo and this is our laboratory for learning. I'm a certified teacher that has been teaching English, business, and communication in the United States and Asia for more than 2 decades. And today we're going to turn our learning to the English language. Today we're going to be looking at an article from the BBC. We're going to break down this article into vocabulary, grammar, special phrases, and idiomatic expressions so you can supercharge your English language. At the end of the video, I will read all of the selections from the article in a proper native pace so that you can practice some of your shadowing. As always, a link to the original article is in the description box below, so be sure to check that out if you want to see the entire article. The topic of today's article is AI in the movie industry, and the title is AI was enemy number 1 during Hollywood strikes. Now it's in Oscar-winning films. So let's dive in to our very first Coolab. Alright, let's start by reading our first selection, our first paragraph. I'll read it for you slowly and then we'll break down each individual part. So let's begin. Selection 1. Inside a soundstage, once used by silent film stars Charlie Chaplin and Mabel Normand, Hollywood executives, actors, and filmmakers sipped cocktails as they marveled at what some say is the biggest breakthrough since the talkies, AI-generated video. But whether AI will be the future of cinema is still up for debate. Okay, let's look at some of that vocabulary first. The first word we want to start with is the word sipped. Now, sipped means to drink something slowly and in small amounts. It's a fun little verb to use instead of the word drink. In the article, we see the sentence, actors and filmmakers sipped cocktails. When someone sips a drink, they are tasting or drinking it gently, often to enjoy the flavor or because it's a strong drink or a hot drink. A new example sentence using the word sipped might be, she sipped her tea quietly while reading her favorite novel by the window. All right, let's look at our second vocabulary word, marvel, or to marvel at. Marvel means to be amazed or impressed by something. In the article, we see the sentence, sipped cocktails as they marveled at. Hollywood executives were impressed by AI-generated video. Another example of marvel is, he marveled at the speed of the sports car. I want to give a special consideration here. As this article comes from the BBC, you'll notice that in the article, marvel is using the British English spelling, as opposed to the American English spelling. So that's also something to keep your eye on. All right, our third vocabulary word, breakthrough. A breakthrough means a major and important discovery or development that solves a problem or makes progress in a field. In the article, we saw the sentence, the biggest breakthrough since the talkies. A breakthrough is a big step forward, especially after a long time of trying. A new example sentence that uses breakthrough might be, after years of research, scientists finally made a breakthrough in cancer treatment that could save thousands of lives. Okay, and our final vocabulary word from section 1 is the word talkies. Now, talkies is not a word you will probably come across that often, but it's still interesting to take a look. Talkies are basically what they called early films that had sound included in addition to visuals. So they were basically when we started adding sound to movies. We called them talkies. In the article, you see the sentence, AI-generated video is compared to the introduction of talkies as a major breakthrough in film industry. Another example that might use the word talkies is the transition from silent films to talkies changed the film industry in the 1920s. Okay, let's look at a little bit of grammar now. Let's turn our attention to the phrase used by. Right? So this is one of those phrases that's often a little bit complicated. We see used to, in this case, used by, a past passive. A passive construction indicates that something was acted upon in the past. In the article, we see inside a soundstage once used by silent film stars. The soundstage was used by them, but they are not the subject. Another example, using used by, might be, this old factory was once used by workers to produce automobiles. Okay, let's now look at an idiomatic expression. This is a phrase that we often see in corporate America, or you might use with your friends sometimes. The phrase, up for debate. When native speakers say this, they're meaning that something is not settled and is still being discussed. In the article, we saw the phrase, but whether AI will be the future or the end of cinema is still up for debate. People still have different opinions about AI. Another example using this expression might be, the effectiveness of online learning compared to traditional classrooms is still up for debate, meaning many people still have opinions on either side. All right, very good work with selection 1. Let's now move on to a second paragraph, selection 2. See if we can find some more words or phrases that is useful. Selection 2. AI in Hollywood is inevitable, says Brian Moser, the party's host and co-founder of Moonvalley, which created the AI generator tool Mari, by paying for footage from filmmakers with their consent. Mr. Moser says that while AI may still be a dirty word, their product is clean because it pays for its content. Okay, a fun selection. Let's look at some of those vocabulary words. The first one is inevitable. Inevitable means certain to happen, unavoidable. In the article, we see the sentence, AI in Hollywood is inevitable. So Mr. Moser believes AI in Hollywood will definitely happen. Another example using inevitable is, with the increasing demand for renewable energy, a change to solar power seems inevitable. Okay, our second vocabulary word. This time we're looking at the word footage. Footage is an industry term used in the movie industry, so it's kind of specific to a certain area. Footage is a term used to describe recorded video or film, usually raw or unedited. In the article, we see the sentence, by paying for footage from filmmakers. So filmmakers were paid for their recorded video to help AI technology. Another example using footage might be, the documentary featured rare footage from the 1920s. So when people in the movie industry talk about the raw video, they're talking about footage. Our next vocabulary word is consent. Consent means permission or agreement for something to happen. In the article, we see the sentence, from filmmakers with their consent. So filmmakers gave their permission for the footage to be used in the AI tool. Another example of the word consent might be, you need to obtain consent from participants before using their personal data for research. Consent. Now let's look at some grammar from the second selection. We're looking at the word says. Says is reported speech, a verb used to report what someone has said or their opinion about something. In the article, we see the sentence, Mr. Moser says that while AI may still be a dirty word, he's expressing his opinion. He's reporting his speech or his thoughts about AI. Another example using this reported speech might be, the teacher says that assignment is due by Friday. So we're reporting what the teacher says. All right, another expression from section 2 is the idiomatic expression dirty word. It means a term or a concept that is viewed negatively. In the article, we see the phrase AI is referred to as a dirty word because AI is seen as negative, especially in the movie industry. Another sentence that uses dirty word might be, in some cultures, divorce is still considered a dirty word. So this idea of dirty word means whatever that is referring to is seen as negative. Okay, 2 selections down. Let's move on to our final selection. Selection 3 reads, OpenAI, Google, and other tech companies are facing multiple lawsuits from writers, actors, and news organizations, alleging their work was stolen to train AI without their consent. Studios like Paramount, Disney, and Universal, who own the copyright on movies and TV shows, have been urged by writers to do the same, though none have taken legal action. Okay, this is a pretty complex selection. Let's take a look at some of the vocabulary and grammar in this selection. The first word is lawsuit, or lawsuits, if you're looking at the plural. Lawsuit means a legal case brought to court. When you see people standing in front of a judge, what they're doing is they're bringing a lawsuit. In the article, we see the sentence, companies are facing multiple lawsuits. Another example using this word might be, he brought a lawsuit after the product broke and caused injuries. Okay, our second vocabulary word, alleging. Alleging means to claim something without proof, often used in legal context or in lawsuits. Before you can prove something in court, you must allege something. You must say that something happened. In the article, we see the sentence, alleging their work was stolen. So the lawsuit claimed that the tech companies used the actor's work without consent. They stole it. They alleged their work was stolen. Another sentence using the word alleged might be, the man is alleging that his neighbor's tree damaged his property. Now, if he goes to court, he'll have to prove that, but the word alleging means he just says that it is true. Okay, let's look at some of the grammar from this selection. Our first piece of grammar is the phrase are facing. So are facing is the present continuous. Right? This is one of the first verb phrases that we might learn, but it's good to make sure we understand some of the basics. Are facing is used to describe an action happening right now or ongoing. In the article, we see the phrase OpenAI, Google, and other tech companies are facing multiple lawsuits. They are currently facing the lawsuits and will continue in the near future. Another example using the present continuous would be, the teams are facing a tough challenge in the final match of the season. Okay, our final piece of grammar is the phrase have been. So have been is part of the present perfect passive form. It means an action started in the past and still is necessary or in effect in the present. So have been plus a verb, in this case urged, makes it present perfect passive. The studios have been urged. That means the actors urged the studios in the past, and that urging is still ongoing. Another example using the present continuous would be, many students have been invited to the party, but not all of them can attend. This means someone invited the students in the past, and the invitation is still relevant. Okay, good work with all 3 selections, learning some new vocabulary, some new grammar, and a couple of idiomatic expressions or special phrases. Now we've come to the shadowing section, where I will read all 3 sections together at native pace so you can practice shadowing. Now, of course, if you remember, shadowing is where you try to repeat what I say exactly at the same pace. Be sure to pause the video, rewind it a little bit, and keep trying to keep up with the native pace. Okay, let us begin. Inside a soundstage once used by silent film stars Charlie Chaplin and Mabel Normand, Hollywood executives, actors, and filmmakers sipped cocktails as they marveled at what some say is the biggest breakthrough since the talkies, AI-generated video. But whether AI will be the future of cinema is still up for debate. AI in Hollywood is inevitable, says Brian Moser, the party's host and co-founder of Moon Valley, which created the AI generator tool Mari, by paying for footage from filmmakers with their consent. Mr. Moser says that while AI may still be a dirty word, their product is clean because it pays for its content. OpenAI, Google, and other tech companies are facing multiple lawsuits from writers, actors, and news organizations, alleging their work was stolen to train AI without their consent. Studios like Paramount, Disney, and Universal, who own the copyright on movies and TV shows, have been urged by writers to do the same, though none have taken legal action. Okay, well there you have it, a look at an advanced article from the BBC. We got to learn a few little vocabulary words, some grammar, maybe some idiomatic expressions, and I hope you learned a new word or two so that you can help your English language grow. Be sure to use one of those new words or phrases and make a sentence in the comments below. And be sure, of course, to click on any one of these other videos if you want to practice using more articles from different sources. As always, we have the original article linked in the description below, so take a look at the full article if you'd like to as well. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next Cool Lab.